Hey everybody, good evening. I just wanted to give just a real quick update and do a little bit of analysis on Neo. Nothing super spectacular here. If you've been paying attention to the market in any way, shape, or form, you will have seen here and also will have likely already known that Neo has gone through, you know, what we refer to in the cryptocurrency world as going to the moon in a sense. We went from about 6,800 up to it looks like it capped out a little over 8,000. And that's a pretty significant increase in price. We're looking at really significant gains that just happened here. If I were to kind of take a look and see what our price range is for this. If you would have happened to have purchased down here and happened to have sold at the top, that's about 17%. So not a huge increase in price, but if you played your cards right, you would have had some pretty significant gains there. So now the question is, how do we know when something like this is going to happen? Well, there's definitely a lot of indicators that we can look at. One of my favorites that I like to use to determine whether or not something is about ready to go up significantly in price is to take a look at the TTM squeeze. So this indicator, which you can add to your charts, is a way to look at this. And what it does is it takes the Bollinger Bands and it kind of puts them in combination with the Keltner channels, and it determines the width of the two layers and determines whether they've gone into a squeeze. So if I just turn on the Bollinger Bands, you'll see here that it's squeezing. The price is squeezing to the point where the volume is maybe somewhat lower, and the price is staying pretty steady, and it's basically about ready to break out one way or another. And the one thing that's nice about the TTM squeeze, you can see the oscillator as it moves up and down and goes through its various motions, but you can see a really nice and easy to read green and red dots. When you see something that turns red, that's your indicator that this is currently in a squeeze. The longer it's in a squeeze, typically the more explosive the price action is. At least that's my observation. But one of the key indicators to knowing how to read this TTM squeeze indicator is, you want to find something that is in a squeeze in multiple charts in multiple time frames. So I'm looking at the 1 hour chart on Neo right now. If I break down to the 30-minute chart, you'll notice that this also was in a squeeze on the 30-minute chart. The more time interval charts that you find these coins or these commodities to be in a squeeze for the longer periods of time, the better your chances of seeing a pretty significant price increase when it comes out of the squeeze. And that's the next part, is when it comes out of the squeeze, what you're looking for it to be coming out on the upside. So you can see here we have 4 occurrences where Neo was in a squeeze. This is starting back on the 4th of April. It was in a squeeze. It came out of a squeeze, but it was on the downside. So this you do not take any action on. It started to move up, went into a squeeze, and it did go up above, but it was still in the squeeze. You do not do any trades while anything is inside of the squeeze. When it came out of the squeeze, you can see it was on the downside, and then it came back up because that's what oscillators do. They go up and they go down. So we were in a squeeze, it went up above, and we're not taking any action because this is currently in a squeeze. When it came out on the downside until this very last one. You can see it was in a squeeze, and you can see it went up. And if you pretend all of this was not here, right? So if you're looking at it from this perspective, you could think to yourself, well, all right, so that went up a little bit, it went down. Well, it went up a little bit, it went down. Went up a little bit, went down. And you can see this, and you can easily think to yourself, well, this is going to go up a little bit, it's going to go down, right? So we'll just kind of take this one at a time. We have another indicator the price went down. The price went down to 6,700. You might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, it's going to start moving down. No big deal. I'm not going to do any trades. So then it comes out and it's still sort of in the upward. You can see the price did go down a little bit more, down here to about 67, 67.50 or so, but it started to come back up. So you can also notice the light color and the dark color. When it's a lighter color, it means it's moving progressively in that direction, whether it be up or down. When it starts that darker shade, that means it's moving in the opposite direction towards the center, whether it be up or down, right? So the darker color means it's moving up if it's below, and if it's on the top, it's going to be moving down. So now the next candle that we see here, we can see it came out of the squeeze. All right, so you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, it got up to 68.22, but do I really want to buy? Because it was at 68.22 just a little bit ago. Well, it came out of the squeeze, and it came out of the squeeze on the upside. So typically, I say typically because rules are meant to be broken, and sometimes they do. But in this case, the rules totally fell right in place where they were supposed to be. The price is only going to go up so high until it's going to retract, and it has retracted. My opinion right now is not a good time to get into Neo. If you are in it, you made some profits, that's fantastic, but it's not a good time to get into Neo at the moment. You'll want to wait for this price to come back down quite a bit, probably down to 7,100 or so before before you decide to buy into Neo. But chances are we're going to see some waves coming through here. You're maybe going to see some impulse waves. The price could continue to rise, but in this market that we have been living in for the last couple months, I would just avoid it for the time being. Be on the lookout for something else. I'll be doing some much shorter videos on some other coins here in just a little bit, but wanted to give you just a little bit of a lesson on the TTM squeeze, how valuable it is, and how profitable it can be when used correctly. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry it was so long. Feel free to share with all of your friends, and I will catch you all later.